morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. It's Michelle Silverman Bedell, Silverson's Realty.
Leslie Jones.
Maria Esposito from Citizens Bank to join us to discuss the cost of selling real estate in New York. So we're just waiting for her to come on, and then we will continue with our discussion. On Monday, we spoke about the costs related to the buying process, and today it's really focused on the costs to the seller. So maybe you want to start,
Sure.
Leslie,
So-
while we're waiting?
So
or
for,
Maria?
for sellers, the general rule of thumb for sellers is you are going to pay transfer tax, which is $4 per thousand. And depending on what jurisdiction you live in, there could be a New York State or New York City transfer tax, a New York or a municipal tax. For example, Yonkers has a 1.5% exit tax. And various other municipalities also have that, as well as New York City having an exit tax as well. So everyone has to be prepared for that. If you have a mortgage, you're going to pay for a satisfaction. That's usually about $250 to get the satisfaction. Generally speaking, if you have a mortgage, we like to take a few extra days of interest to protect you. So you have to expect that the title close is going to want to take 5 to 7 days extra in interest. And those are typically generally costs that you could expect at closing. Usually also tip a title closer $250 for a gratuity for paying off the mortgage. So if you have one mortgage, it's $250, two mortgages, $500. It could vary a little bit from closer to closer,
Right.
but that's typically the cost.
Right. So for a seller, I think a lot of the costs when you prepare, it starts really even before the closing. So when you're preparing your home for sale, you may want to hire a stager. You definitely have to declutter your home. Very rarely do I ever go into a home where the homeowner is thinking of selling and they don't have to do any decluttering, right? We all gather a lot of information over the years, a lot of stuff over the years, and it's really important to declutter your home so it really shows in the best possible way, right? It may mean hiring somebody who works with you to declutter, and also then to really prepare your home for sale. It may involve painting your home, making any repairs. So these are all costs that a seller would incur, and it's very important to really have your house shine the day that it's posted for sale, right? And as you go through the process, you also have to continue with that. And at the end, towards the closing, the seller is also responsible for the closing costs, as Leslie said, and any last minute closing items that they may have to obtain, such as a deed. Many times the seller can't find the deed, or they have to close out the satisfaction, or
It could be permits that are open that you have to close out
Right.
before. In Scarsdale, for example, there's a discharge permit you have to get.
and the marinette as
So-
well.
And those cost a little bit of money, and it would be smart to start the process with that sooner than later, a few weeks after the contract signed, that should be applied for.
And I think also related to what Leslie just said, it's very important when you're listing a property because you don't want to be caught 3 weeks prior to a closing with legalizing a deck. That would involve a cost to you of hiring a contractor or an architect, whereby you would have to legalize the deck, draw plans, file permits. So these all cost extra money, and it also costs you time and can delay a closing. So these are very important items to check when you first list a property. Make sure your permits are closed, make sure there's nothing outstanding, even done from a long time ago, that can delay a closing. And also on the selling side, obviously there's a moving expense. You may want to start hiring a moving company and getting good estimates for the moving process. And I think also from a seller's perspective, you would really want to know costs, your exit in terms of where you're going to go in your next stage, and because that'll also impact the costs, or you're accepting what you'll take on your sale.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So these are different costs on the selling side, and the buyer obviously has his or her own costs. And I don't know where Maria is, but we were hoping that she would come on and speak about any costs related regarding the mortgage or the financing process. But if not, we look forward to seeing you next Friday. And if you have any questions related to this, feel free to call us and also share with us any topics that you would want us to discuss. Have a great weekend.
Have a great week.
Bye bye.